for whatever reason, and then it's like, well, we need to shift it over a couple more miles, then is this haul route
Do we have to redo it all?
Do we have to redo it all, or is it covered that if the route changes, that you guys have access to those roads no matter what? Are we going to be identifying specifically which stretches of road that's going to be impacted by this agreement? Is that where the third-party assessment comes in?
And I think the ideal situation is that we look at this, we move forward with the third-party assessment, and then we'll negotiate the use of those roads. The county, the road superintendent, with the permission of the county board, however you guys set it up, will advise us what we need to do to use these roads, and then we'll move forward with that. At any time, things could change slightly, and it is our, what we would like to do would be to come back anytime there's a change, and we'll notify the highway superintendent that these roads might change, that because things happen. If you happen to have a bridge fail, prior to us even getting here, we may take that road off.
Good.
If something happens or something changes, we do need some flexibility to change ever so slightly, but it's only going to be with your permission. And then we'll approach.
Right. You have to ask the county for this, but obviously you'll be using state highways too. Do you have to do an agreement with them?
No. No, and not every county really requires an agreement.
Okay.
They are public roads, but
You're
it's
crossing
something
80 and 34 and 81.
to travel across.
Yeah.
No, we do not need permission.
I didn't know if you needed to do it through the state and they gotta verify it too.
No, sir, not all counties require this. It's something we wanted to do to communicate and be upfront and tell you what we're doing.
Would it be possible to have the third-party road assessment group or individual established before we enter into this agreement, so that so it's understood what their part of this, or what their involvement is in this process? Is that something we can figure out without the haul route agreement, in your opinion?
What if in the agreement we just say that whoever that is has to be mutually agreeable? And the reason I ask that question is because we'll probably have to put that work out for bid. So what we might come to you with is maybe a list of different contractors and ask you, would any of these three be okay with you? And then we would put our request for proposal out and see who comes back with the reasonable cost.
Are you wanting it documented before we sign, so we know which roads we're picking up?
I'm just wondering if we have to have who the third party is, so that, like, listed in the agreement, that way, I mean, I don't know if that's something we necessarily need or not. Like, have it listed that ABC company is the third party, is the agreed upon third party between the pipeline and the county, unless maybe that's a different agreement that we...
If you, in order to move this forward, what I might suggest, just as a drafting matter, we've already agreed that we'll put the words in that'll say that whoever that third party is will be mutually agreeable. And then I might even say that either we cover that with a side letter when that person is mutually agreed, that we have a side letter between the two of us saying, yeah, now we've agreed that XYZ company is that party, or we could do that by an amendment to the agreement.
I like your first approach better.
Okay.
Is there a need to have this signed today? I'm asking you what, is it necessary for you guys to have this agreement signed by this board today? I'm getting the feeling that perhaps maybe this board isn't maybe ready to make a decision on this agreement yet today. I guess what I'm getting at is, if the permit doesn't come through until December, why the necessity to do this? I mean, is there a necessity to do it today, or?
There is not necessarily a necessity to do it today. It is important that we get everything in line, so that way, once the State Department signs, we're not 6 months behind on construction because we're coming to all the 14 different counties through Nebraska to get this information done.
There are some
It takes
people
time.
that would say, let's delay everything. But you can't build a project that way. You have to have your
Right.
planning done and you have to be ready to go.
Have any of the other counties along the line signed a haul agreement?
Not as of yet on this
Okay.
particular project, they did on the other. However, I
Well,
anticipate.
I'm talking about this project. Has anybody signed it?
Yeah, we're negotiating with those that require them.
And this project isn't gonna start in York County. It's gonna start up in the Sand Hills, right? And work this way. I mean,
Not
you would need your haul permits from those
necessarily.
pieces on the northern.
One from the south north.
South.
It's gonna be from the south, okay. So York County wouldn't be involved for some time anyway.
That's right.
I'd really like to have more time.
And when you start, the whole thing, is it starting at one end of the county, or you guys gonna be skipping around, hop and jumping around?
I think the first thing that you'll see is that we're gonna bring pipe into the different areas. They might get off I-80 and go south on 281 to the next pipe yard, or go up into Nance County to the next pipe
I
yard.
understand you would be putting pipe in place and materials, but do you go from point A to point B with your construction?
But did you have an answer?
Butch, I think. probably
Butch, you wanna come up?
Yeah, just to mention that, again, while the construction schedule has not been totally finalized, they're in discussions now with potential contractors. There are 3 construction spreads tentatively right now planned for Nebraska. I can't tell you off the top of my head what the milepost breaks are. One is just north of the state line into South Dakota. And conceivably, all 3 could be constructed concurrently. Just depends on how the contractor proposes that work, what contractors propose that work, and how Keystone incorporates that. So yes, conceivably, work in this part of the state could be going on as soon as practical after the presidential permit, probably, assuming we get it in December, spring of next year sometime.
And I got one question,
Hey, Paul?
A lot of times county roads connect from one county to the other.
Between now and whenever, whether it be the next meeting on the 9th or the 23rd is the meeting following, we will be in contact with our county attorney, who in turn will be talking with you. I would encourage the board, if you have any concerns that you'd like to have addressed in the haul route, talk it over with Bill. That way Bill can bring it up with them.
That's fine.
Bill, you would like to at some point have the board get together?
Well, yeah, see, one of the problems, we have not, this board has not considered this as a, have a sit-down section, where are we going, what are we doing? Like asking the questions about cutting through roads and doing all this stuff for laying the pipeline is an entirely different subject than just what the hauling is, and we kind of need to get a handle on where all this is going.
Is that something we can do next meeting?
At our next
and then
meeting.
the following
Yeah,
meeting?
sure, it won't take long.
Does that work with you guys? If at our next meeting, if the board, on the 9th of August, the board can discuss this as a board, we'll have to do that when we're here convened. And then perhaps on the 23rd, meet with you guys. I don't want you bringing a bunch of people in on the 9th and then we're not even gonna consider, I don't wanna inconvenience you guys any, but, on the 23rd, can we schedule it coming back here again, meeting as a group again?
That's
This is
acceptable.
can you just do because obviously it takes a longer time to talk all this over. Can you just do almost like a separate meeting devoted to this?
Special meeting?
Yeah, open or public.
I suppose we could.
That
as
way
long as
we can-
comply
because
with open
obviously-
meetings and everything.
The time that's allowed isn't enough time usually ever.
Well, maybe Bill can determine about what kind of time it's gonna take. We can either include it on the agenda or go with a special meeting.
Well, we need to talk about it, and, and I have
Because
no
if we don't
idea
sit
how
down
long
and
you're
talk
gonna
about
wanna
it here-
talk about it,
If we don't sit down and talk about it here, just specifically that and nothing else,
Yeah.
tying us up.
Well, we could schedule a special meeting just to consider that and do that. Might be the thing to do.
Because this is a big deal for York County.
Yeah, it is.
Regardless, I think we will meet up again and talk with you guys on the 23rd of August,
Yeah.
and between now and then, we as a
We'll
board
get our
will
work done.
meet, whether it be on a regular Tuesday meeting on the 9th or a different meeting, so.
Okay. You think we should bring technical people back then on the 23rd?
I mean, if you want to, I mean, I can't, I don't know what questions will be coming up between here and there, so if that's something you guys feel like you wanna do, that's up to you.
Let me do this, we'll get our
Questions.
questions and so forth, and then I'll give you a contact to tell you what I think you need to do.
Okay,
Good.
Thank you.
thank you very much.
Thank you.
So again, the York County Board says that they want to meet in private to discuss the whole pipeline theory, the project, what it could mean for the county. And then on August 23rd, they said they're willing to sit down with company representatives again and hash the whole thing out. Again, this is Melanie Wilkinson with YorkNewsTimes.com.